Bean Soup Times is on a mission to create Bean Soup Times is on a mission to create dope content that entertains, educates, and empowers the Black community. We keep our ear to the ground, we ask, we report to you. We help Black people to share their message. We promote real dialogue. We provide a platform to help give voice to the voiceless. We educate you on how to shop smart. Our passion is to inform you about Black events, businesses, organizations, and entertainers. We are Black owned. We are Black Chicago. We are the award-winning Bean Soup Times.
Y'all started off with that selection, man. Appreciate it.
All right, greetings, everyone. This is Toure Muhammad, man. It's a wonderful day. It is December and the sun is shining and we have some great weather. I know we may not be able to really be out there and enjoy like we would want to in Chicago, taking advantage of a great day like this, but nonetheless, it's a wonderful day, and we appreciate you for taking some time to tune in to the Toure Muhammad Show. We have a great show today, but of course, before we get started with our incredible guest today, I want to thank our supporters, our sponsors. We couldn't do this without the support of Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream. You know that ice cream; it's so delicious. It's feel you can feel the love in it. They're promoting their sweet potato ice cream now. And if you all know, even in the wintertime, it's a great place to get excellent ice cream. If you're a true ice cream lover, you don't wait till it gets hot. And if you're a true Chicagoan, it doesn't need to be hot for you to enjoy some great ice cream. So get on over to Sean Michelle's and check them out. Dan's Soul Food Cafe, we appreciate them serving up great soul food for the past, it's almost 30 years, 28 years. They've been serving up that soul food right there on 79th and Maplewood in the Auburn Gresham area. And of course, Sean Michelle's is on 47th and Wabash. And so we're pleased. We're excited with those two people that are helping us keep things going. And then, of course, you can't forget Brown Sugar Bakery. Those are our people over there. We love their pastries. We love the cakes. We love they got donuts now. So they're doing it up big. So we appreciate them as well. And so now let's get into it today. We have a wonderful guest today. And man, if you have been paying attention, if you've been looking at what is happening in the city of Chicago, if you understand the importance of finances, which I think we all do, we have a great guest on the day that's going to give us some information, some updates, and share with us some things that we need to know as individuals and as business owners when it comes to, the support that the state has been given. So I'm going to bring him on. And so we're very pleased. We're very pleased to have the Illinois State Treasurer, Michael Frerichs, here today with us. So, man, we appreciate you, first of all. We know you're busy. Being a state treasurer is busy anytime, but especially in COVID, because I know people, there's so many more programs and things now that you have to facilitate and make sure that they're running right. So welcome to the Toure Muhammad Show.
Toure, thanks for having me. You're right. COVID has made things a lot more difficult. It's upended our jobs, but I remind myself every morning I still have a job. I have an opportunity to help millions of Illinoisans. I have my health. My daughter is healthy. My family is healthy. So I really have very little to complain about.
Man, that's the right attitude and right spirit. And I think that all of us should have that, regardless of what we may be going through individually. We are on the top side of the earth, and we have an opportunity to keep fighting and keep striving and keep growing and figure out a solution to whatever problem that we're faced with, either individually or collectively. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the position that you're in now.
Well, I'll start with something I wanted to say is that I think we have a choice every day in our life if we want to be happy or if we want to be upset. And people say, well, you don't understand all the problems in my life. I say, I understand. Everyone has problems. If we focus on the problems in our life, if we focus on all those things that annoy us that we can't change, you can't do anything about it and you'll be miserable. But every single one of us has an opportunity to make our lives better, to improve the lot in life for our families, for our communities. And we may not be able to change everything, but if we focus on things we can change, I can tell you I get a lot of joy. And I'm happy knowing that I'm making things better for someone. So to that extent, I ran for treasurer because it gives me great opportunities. I tell people this is not a job. This is an opportunity to help a lot of people. We help people save for their kids' college education. We help people save for their retirement. We help make money for the state. And I get to play Santa Claus 365 days a year with our unclaimed property division. So how did I come to this position? Well, it's not your normal path. I know in Illinois politics, it seems like you need to have powerful family members helping lift you up there. It seems to be a family business in Chicago. My family business, I grew up in a small town of 800 people. My dad's a truck driver, hauls rock and asphalt to construction sites. His father was a dairy farmer, raised dairy cattle and then raised cattle. My mom grew up over a slaughterhouse. So first person in my family to go to college. I did fairly well in school, so I went away to school. I graduated from Yale. I spent some time living abroad. I spent some time living in New York City. I ended up in St. Louis, and I was close enough home, Tori, that I decided I'd go home and see my family. When I came back home, it was great to see them, but I didn't like everything I saw, and I got involved in politics. I eventually became a county auditor, a state senator, and then that background, I think, in government finance and working in state government led me to this position.
Man, that's wonderful. It's good to hear that kind of background, because that's a hard working class foundation you have there. So I know that helps. Hopefully that helps for you to remember and understand what everyday folks are going through. I think that's so important in the political arena.
So I still lived in that small town. I live in Champaign. My parents still live in that small town. My older brother does. My younger brother lives in another small town, and my brother's a carpenter. Goes to work every day. His wife, my sister-in-law, is a teacher. And those are the people that I look to represent, because I find those who have a lot of money don't need the help from the state. But those out there who are working hard every day and struggling to make ends meet to pay the bills, and that's who we try to think of when we're doing our job in this office.
Mm-hmm. So, and obviously, there's a lot of value and importance to small businesses. Yep. And this pandemic has really illustrated that, I think, to a large degree. So when it comes to businesses, especially the small businesses, what are some of the ways that they can, I know there's been a lot of information, but some people are not, they've been so busy trying to survive that they don't know sometimes how to access stuff and make deadlines. So, what has that been looking like from your end?
Well, Tori, that's a great question. That's why I'm on here with you today, because we got a lot of programs to help people, to help businesses. But people running their own business and having their own families, they're busy 16, 18 hours a day. They don't have time to go to the Illinois State Treasurer's website. They might be cooking dinner while listening to your podcast. And hopefully they hear this and say, that's a program I could use. I'm the chief investment officer for the state of Illinois. We try and invest money to make more money for the state, because every dollar we can make in interest is a dollar that the General Assembly and the governor don't have to raise in taxes, or a dollar in cuts they don't have to make to things like our schools. So that's part of our job. But I also think we can have win-wins when we invest in Illinois businesses, when we help Illinois businesses grow and they can then employ people and they make money and they pay taxes on that. It's a win-win for us. We get our interest back on our loans, but they help produce more revenue for the state going forward. So we have an umbrella organization called Invest Illinois, with a business invest and a community invest program. We also have a charitable trust program, which helps make loans to smaller nonprofits who are doing work with employment training or food security or housing. We have an unclaimed property division that's worked very hard to return money to businesses who lost that money or forgot about it. We have an Illinois Growth and Innovation Fund, which helps invest in Illinois startup companies throughout the state. Because we just know that when we invest in Illinois businesses and help them grow, we all do better as a result.
Man, that's excellent. And of course, you mentioned two things that are very important: housing and food security. So what are some of the types of businesses that can access those two programs?
Well, those would be smaller nonprofits. This is money. It doesn't come from taxpayers. It comes from larger nonprofits, fees they pay to the Attorney General's office. We administer this fund. We've got over $1 million in it, and we give out grants twice a year to nonprofits with less than $1 million in annual income, who tend to focus on food security, helping make sure hungry people get access to food, housing, trying to feed house our homeless, and people who provide job skills training, because those are things that our charitable trust board decided are the real things we wanted to tackle with this money. So if there's a nonprofit listing out there, they should go to illinoistreasurer.gov and click on charitable trust and see if they've got an idea that we could help fund.
Man, excellent, excellent. And talk a little bit more about this startup opportunities for small businesses that just get, and especially they must be brave and absolutely courageous to be starting their business during this pandemic time.
Oh, there's a great word. So Toure, in March, we clearly see this pandemic's growth. So I challenged our leadership team to identify programs within our office that we could invoke to help small businesses immediately. So in response, the State Treasurer's Office set aside $250 million to capitalize banks and credit unions so that they, in turn, could help small businesses push through this COVID-19 crisis. In the first month, we had requests from more than 20 lending institutions for more than $250 million in deposits to be used to provide low-interest loans to small businesses. So we have one small grant program for nonprofits, but for businesses, we have a loan program. And in response to that strong demand, on April of this year, we doubled the amount of funding available under our COVID-19 relief program, offering up to $500 million. So to date, we have $300 million committed to 33 financial institutions throughout the state, provide bridge loans to help small businesses navigate this pandemic. So generally, this is money that will help small businesses keep their operations going. Now, we're not the only small business loan program out there, but our program is meant to complement many of the other state and federal programs available to small businesses.
Man, that's beautiful. And, you know, we do a lot of work with restaurants. And of course, some of them, if they were able to really hone in on their delivery and curbside pickup, they're still surviving. But what do you see in terms of the restaurants? What's the biggest, you know, has there been a lot of applications, and, you know, how is that going?
So there have been a lot of applications there. You know, we know that these businesses that were once profitable someday are going to be able to be profitable again, but they have to reimagine a different business model right now, or they're going to find some sort of bridge loan to get them through these difficult times. And they are difficult, and they are longer than I think anyone expected. So we provide those loans so that they can make it through this period, or they can use that money to reinvest and reinvent themselves. They may need money to change their curbside pickup. They may need to put up tents or to buy heaters so that they continue to serve throughout the winter. And those are the kind of things that a business is going to need access to capital to, and that's the kind of thing we're thinking about when we design this loan program.
Mm-hmm. And so people can obviously go to the website and they can easily navigate. So there's two programs, definitely for nonprofits and for current businesses. Does that include the startup one? Those two are in the same category, startups and existing businesses?
Well, so we also have a program called the Illinois Growth and Innovation Fund, meant to invest in Illinois-based technology companies. Now, I don't pick those companies. If you hired me to pick tech startups and winners, you picked the wrong person. But we have private sector partners here whose job is to help put money in with venture capital firms and private equity firms that then invest in Illinois-based technology startup companies to help grow them. And the idea here is it's a win-win. We actually make a good return on our investments, but we also, excuse me, but we also, we help to grow these companies and they hire people and they have more revenue. That helps out our state budget at the same time. So if there's a small business tech startup company, have them reach out to our office and we'll put them in touch with our partners at 50 South Capital to help see if we can find a venture capital firm to fund them.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. So we got housing, we have food security, we have technology, and we have nonprofits. All have some access or some ability if they are in those areas to be able to get some support. How, obviously the businesses are suffering and some are struggling, some are doing better than others.
Yep.
What is, sometimes they're suffering because of the pandemic, but some of them were
suffering before the pandemic.
Suffering before the pandemic, right? And so some of them don't have the actual training that they need. I'm talking specifically now about a lot of the small Black businesses that we've encountered. They're great chefs, right? They're great producers of whatever that service or that product is, but didn't have the business acumen. So they've been piecing it together because they got a great product. But so are there some programs or any kind of assistance or pointing them in the right direction to be able to get some of the capacity building stuff that they need to grow their business?
Well, that's a great question. Toure, are you familiar with Don Thompson, the former CEO of McDonald's?
I sure am.
So Don has been a great innovator, entrepreneur, especially in the food service industry. He started his own restaurant as a food incubator to help people out there. We've decided to partner with him in the Illinois State Treasurer's Office. So we're an investor with Cleveland Avenue, his investment firm, to create an entrepreneurial fund. Now we think this complements our Illinois Growth and Innovation Fund. We've had opportunities there to increase equity, diversity, inclusion, and venture capital. Mm-hmm. So my office made a $16 million investment to help start up businesses owned by Black, Latino, and women entrepreneurs on the south and west sides of Chicago.
Wow.
So that CASTA stands for Cleveland Avenue State Treasurers Urban Success. We're very excited about that as that is rolling out. But we also realize that there are Black business owners who work in the financial service industry, and too many of them weren't working with the Treasurer's Office when I came in. I like to say it was a sort of modern day Jim Crow. You were a business owner, you started something up, you had some experience, but you'd be told, sorry, you don't have enough assets under management to work with us. You don't have enough years experience managing money to work for us. And so, well, how do I get that experience? How do I get those assets if you won't invest with me? Well, we do things a little differently. So to give you an idea, for fiscal year 2020, the Illinois State Treasurer's Office brokered $4.9 billion with African-American firms. This is an over 11-time increase from when I took office in 2014. So with asset managers, as of June 30th this year, our office had $1.5 billion worth of assets managed by African-American firms. This is over 88 times increase from when I took office. So along with our small business COVID relief program, we wanted to ensure that businesses who did not have long-standing relationships with financial institutions. Mm-hmm. Remember, the federal government gave out these PPP loans, and it sounded great. But that money went out the door to the bigger companies that had long-standing relationships, and the smaller ones that maybe didn't have those relationships were left in the cold. We wanted to have more opportunities to receive a lifeline to those smaller businesses, because we know it's easier to ramp up a business that's struggling than a business that's already shut its doors. So
absolutely. And so obviously I think people will be savvy enough to go to the website, but is there also a contact person for those folks that just like get on the phone and make phone calls? What department, where should they reach out to?
Well, COVID has been it's been difficult for our office because we don't have as many people coming into the office. But if you call a main line for our office, we'll get you in touch with somebody. But the website's really the best place to start. And all of our employees are working home, access their email accounts, and are fairly quick getting back to people. So one of the things you can look at is some of the work we've done. If you go to our website at illinoistreasurer.gov, click on Raising the Bar. basically we're raising the expectations for firms out there for our investments. We want to be more inclusive. And you can see some of those numbers I was telling you about in a lot more detail about how we're doing more work with Black-owned businesses, whether they be broker-dealers, asset managers, or work we're doing to make sure that corporate boards are more diverse. This is something I recently signed a letter with the Connecticut State Treasurer, sent out to all of the Russell 3000 companies, saying we want you to disclose the racial makeup of your board of directors. It's something a lot of them have been loath to do because their boards are all white. They don't want to tell people that. Well, we think as investors, we ought to know that information, because I know, and studies have shown, business studies have shown, that more diverse boards perform better than homogenous boards. They're less prone to groupthink. They're less prone to have people just saying yes, yes. You get more diverse ideas around the table, you miss fewer opportunities, and you make better decisions. So that's one of the things that we've really been working on. You can find information on that at our Raising the Bar part of our website as well.
Okay, beautiful. And if we can go back to Don Thompson again a little bit, tell us a little bit more about that. And you said it's rolling out, or what stage is that program in?
We'll be making a bigger announcement at the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
We've been working with him on this for the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. And we're really excited about what we're going to do. We know that there are entrepreneurs spread out all over this city and all over this state. Unfortunately, when money goes flowing, it frequently doesn't go to the south and west side. I think we're missing out. Those neighborhoods are missing out on capital, and we're missing out as a state or as a city. And so Don has a similar vision. We sat down over dinner and several conversations, and we're making a bigger splash in the new year.
So you're getting a sneak preview here on the Toure Muhammad Show about something that's going to be big next year. Yeah, we appreciate and have watched him over the years and the wonderful things that he's been doing. So that's great to see that connection. What is you mentioned earlier in the conversation about the being Santa Claus.
It's a great job.
I'm a Muslim, so I appreciate Santa Claus, but only in a certain way, and I think it's the way that you're talking about right now.
we give out money 365 days a year. We give out hundreds of millions of dollars every year. This summer, we celebrated a milestone and a record. We have given away more than $1 billion back to Illinois residents since taking office. Money they can spend at a local business or a local restaurant. And I know that when we put more money into your listeners' pockets, Toure, and they can spend it at a business or a restaurant, and that money starts circulating throughout the economy, it does a lot more good for the state than it does sitting in a bank account down in Springfield. Mm-hmm. So we always encourage your listeners to go to illinoistreasurer.gov and click on iCash, put your name into our database and see if we have something that belongs to you. We find about 1 in every 4 person who goes to our website finds we have something that belongs to them, and the average amount is just about $1,000. So well worth your time and effort.
So, and obviously the money is always there in various degrees, but you all have been doing more to make sure people know about it and use the iCash tool to be able to access it, right?
Correct. We've changed our marketing. We've done it differently, trying to reach people where they are, trying to find partners to work with us to help get the word out. We work with elected officials, state representatives, state senators to contact people. Because I'll tell you, as much fun it is to be Santa Claus, it's a lot of work. Santa Claus has got to run all around the world giving this money. I tell people it's hard to give away money. And no one believes me. It's really easy to give away money. But Toure, let me tell you something. If you went home, you had a letter in your mailbox that says, the state of Illinois wants to give you $1,000. What would be your first thought?
I would be very suspicious. And I'll be looking at, wait a minute, do I owe the state anything? Let me start checking.
The state's giving me money? I hear the state has financial problems. How can they be giving me money? Because this is money that doesn't belong to the state. It's in a separate account. This money that belongs to our citizens, and my job is to fight on their behalf to get it from the banks and corporations, and then to get it into their hands. So we send these letters, and people throw them away. They say this must be a scam. So I'm telling you, if it comes from us, If it's not asking money from you, check out our website, IllinoisTreasurer.gov. Click on iCash and see if we have money that belongs to you. We'd love to put more into your viewers' hands.
One of our listeners said they're going right now to go check it out.
Business can as well. We also have money for businesses, not just individuals. You should check for your business name as well.
And so this money's coming from like people who passed and maybe didn't have a will, and there's a next of heir that is in line to be able to get it. Talk a little bit about some of the ways this money gets there so people can understand that it's not a hoax.
It comes a number of ways. Maybe you worked a job and you left that job mid-cycle and you never got your last paycheck. The company doesn't get to keep that. They turn it over to us. Maybe you've moved from apartment to apartment and you had to put down a deposit with the power company or the water company. Well, when you move again, maybe you didn't get your deposit back. Well, they don't get to keep it. We fight and get that here. Maybe you applied for a rebate or a refund and they mailed you a check or one of those cards and you thought it was junk mail and threw it away. Just because you threw it away doesn't mean that company gets to keep it. It belongs to you. We fight for that. Or maybe someone named you as the beneficiary of a life insurance policy and you didn't know about it. When they passed away, that money now belongs to you, not to the life insurance company. We fight with them to get money. And that's how we've got over $3 billion fighting with these companies that sometimes use deceptive practices and sometimes just made simple mistakes, and they're holding on to money that doesn't belong to them. We get it and then try very hard to get it to its rightful owners.
Man, that's I didn't realize it was that intricate. So you have to have people that are investigating and making sure and staying up on all these different transactions to know that the company is supposed to send them money. They might do it automatically, but they might not.
Yeah, these companies know they've got to track down the rightful owners. If after 3 years they haven't been able to get it to the rightful owner, they know they've turned it over to us. And many businesses just every year, businesses, corporations, financial institutions will turn over money to us, but we also have auditors who go in. We had a big fight with these life insurance companies because I maintain that if you buy a life insurance policy, you pay your premiums and you pass away, you didn't take out that policy, Toure, because you wanted to make a life insurance company more profitable. You took out a life insurance policy because there was someone in your life you cared about, take care of after you were gone. And so I maintain if you own a policy, if you make your payments and you pass away, well, that money belongs to your children or to your wife. These life insurance companies said, no, we doesn't belong to them until they come and ask us for it. We had a big fight over this. They said, we don't have to pay it until they tell us that someone has passed away. Well, that didn't sit right with me. And so we fought, went to the General Assembly, and we clarified state law that says twice a year, the companies have to look at their list of policyholders. And if one of them passed away, they have to notify the beneficiaries that there's money that belongs to them.
That's excellent, because I know I've heard about that being a huge problem.
Oh, it's been a huge problem for a long time. And I would say, especially, I worked very closely with the NAACP to get this legislation passed because they knew stories about how insurance salesmen would come into black neighborhoods with their little books and collect money all the time. And they'd write it in the books. But when the policyholder passed away, they didn't tell their children. They didn't tell their spouses. They held on to that money. We discovered through audits of 22 life insurance companies over $500 million that life insurance companies were holding on to that should have been paid out to people in the state of Illinois. $500 million from about 22 different life insurance companies. There are more out there. There are hundreds of millions of dollars that should have been paid out to grieving widows and orphans that was not. And we took that fight on, and it took us 2 years, but we eventually won.
Man, that's beautiful. And it's a lot of great, excuse me, a lot of great work being done. And people need to make sure that we know about it, know about how to access things. So this is some great information you're giving. And everything can be accessed through the Illinois .gov website. So that gives us a central location to go and get this information.
For our office, IllinoisTreasurer.gov.
IllinoisTreasurer.gov. All right, beautiful. So we didn't talk about it, but you mentioned housing, and I know there's been a group of people who have been suffering, and you don't hear a lot of sympathy about them. And those are landlords. Those are business, real estate owners, not, huge corporations, but, somebody that only has two or three flats, and their tenants have not been able to pay rent,
Yep.
as regularly because they've been laid off. So is there anything for the landlords, the small landlords out there?
So same thing, our COVID-19 relief fund, our loan program can help get them through these difficult times. So they continue to pay their mortgages if they have them, their taxes, because we realize that this won't last forever. It's a rough patch. A lot of people are laid off. They're in a tough place right now. And my hope is the federal government realizes this and does something to help out. They came together early, but then they went right back to their old ways of bickering. And it just seems to me like Mitch McConnell is holding up anything to help poor people until he gets some relief for those big corporations. He wants to get some sort of protections for those big corporations, and he's not going to help the little guy until he does. And that's the fight that's going on right now, and it's a shame because Americans are hurting, and the role of government should be to help those people.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. It seems as though that's a constant song that's being played, especially in recent years. But hopefully they'll get something together and get that relief down to the small man and woman real soon.
Well, we do have a change coming, January 20th.
Yes,
we're going to have some new leadership in the White House, and my hope is that will help unlock some of this gridlock. We
have to keep our fingers crossed it's going to be smooth because
you're right there. There no certainty with this guy.
Right. I hope no pushing and shoving. I hope there's no pushing and shoving. Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking forward to that change and watching how it plays out. So is there anything else that's been key or important that we didn't cover? You want to make sure that the people of Illinois know about?
Well, we make a real push here for diverse boards of corporations and prominent nonprofits. I just want to talk about that. We engage our portfolio companies when we invest to increase corporate board diversity. We just think that it is vital to performance. We take the lead. We lead and chair the Midwest Investors Diversity Initiative. Now, this is a coalition of institutional investors. They're dedicated to increasing racial, ethnic, and gender diversity on corporate boards of companies headquartered in the Midwest. So our initiative has undertaken 54 company engagements, 40 of which have added diverse board members, and 32 have adopted diverse search policies. So we're basically following the Rooney Rule in the NFL. We have something called the Garcia Rule, that if you're going to bring on a new board director, you have to at least interview one minority, at least, because we found is there's a lot of talent out there, but if you look around your social network and they all look like you, that's probably who you're going to pick from. If we make you actually interview someone from a different background, you're probably going to realize that, hey, they have great skills and that different experience lends something to the board.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And so this is, of course, for corporations inside the state of Illinois.
Well, the Midwest is throughout the Midwest. We try and do this with all corporations, but we just know that we can engage better as the Illinois State Treasurer with Midwest-based companies.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so the boards are usually those are often 2-year terms or longer. So this should be maybe something that we see some change in the next, 3-4 years because of what you're doing now.
And we've already started seeing change. We've engaged with them. And like I said, we've seen 40 of them have added diverse board members since we started this. And we've got a lot more work to do. But I started this off, Toure, by saying you choose every day whether you're going to be happy or sad. If you look at all of those boards out there, if you look at the opportunities that are denied to people because of the color of their skin or because of their gender, you can just shake your fist and be angry. Or you can say, what can I do about this? And that's what I decided to do. Because when we invest in these companies, we are shareholders. We are owners of these companies. I have some say. I don't have all the say, but if I raise a little stink and shine a spotlight on this, we found is a lot of them will do the right thing. It just takes a little pushing. And the progress we've made hasn't solved all of our problems, but if we keep at this every day, things are going to be better.
Man, we appreciate you, State Treasurer. We thank you for the work that you're doing. We were already hearing great things about you and great things about your office, and the level of communication and outreach to Black businesses and Black consumers. So we appreciate it, and I want you to keep up the great work.
Great. Well, Toure, thank you very much. If anyone listening has additional questions, they can go to Illinois Treasurer, one word, .gov. There you can find unclaimed property, find information on Raising the Bar program, or COVID-19 relief fund.
Beautiful. Illinois Treasurer. We appreciate you, and man, you're welcome to come on anytime. If you have some updates and information, definitely please, you know how to get through us through our great advocate and communications person, Christy Love. So we thank you again.
Great. Thank you, Toure. Have a great day.
All right, you too. All right, man. So I hope you all got some incredible information from that interview. I know I did. I'm going to be going to the website to see if I have some unclaimed money and be able to show and communicate with business owners about some of the continued relief and support that's out there. So we appreciate the COVID relief 19 program. And did I say that right? But, you know, go to the website and you're going to be able to access all of those things that the state treasurer uplifted and talked about today. So again, we're going to close out. We thank him for coming on. We thank you for watching, and we thank our sponsors who continue to help us to put out these informational interviews with incredible people throughout the city of Chicago and the state. So with that, we're going to close out the show. We want you all to have a wonderful day. We want you all to stay encouraged, stay blessed, and stay informed. Peace.
Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream is the only place to go when the ladies crave delicious old-fashioned homemade ice cream. Their vanilla tastes just like Grandma used to make it. With over 35 flavors, all made with the freshest ingredients, Kathy has never had banana pudding ice cream this good. It's homemade ice cream the way you remember, and Sean Michelle's doesn't upset your stomach. Enjoy in-store or take it to go. Sean Michelle's. Fall in love again.
First-time customers, buy one, get one free.